Sherrie, there's a lot said about becoming an attraction agent, but to become an attraction agent, that requires a lot of profile marketing.
Yes, no, I agree. And I think as much as everyone wants to be an attraction agent, the reality is that you actually need to get there first. So I think, the first thing you need to do is actually just build up that profile by hard work and by creating, raving mad fans. And then once you've got raving mad fans and they start to give you referrals and then it all starts to come together, and then you start to make money so that you can actually, post on the internet and those sorts of things.
So is it like building blocks? You just start with one, you make the best thing, you do the best you can with that, then you build on it?
Yes, and I think people look at, what they want to do in a year. I don't look at it that way. I'm actually very focused on 3 months, and I use each individual property, I guess, as you talk about, as a block to actually get to the next step, to get to the next step, to get to the next step. So it is very, very specific.
You work in an office that's got some pretty high-profile operators. In fact, some of the best high-profile operators in Brisbane or Queensland, maybe even Australia, who knows? But how do you stand out in that environment? Why would someone come to your office and list with you?
Yeah, you are right. I do work in a remarkable office. And if I may, that's probably one of the reasons why I want to work there, because I actually want to be in an environment where people want to be the best at their craft, and we all want to have that high-performance mentality. I am truly blessed to work in that environment. But I suppose at the end of the day, if I'm coming up against somebody else high profile in my office, quite often what we'll do, rather than fight each other for it, we'll actually just join forces and we'll go for it ourselves. So I think our office has a very different atmosphere to most other real estate agencies, where we're not actually fighting each other. We're actually do genuinely want the best for each other.
Sherrie, how important has social media been to you in building your profile?
Well, that's really been a foundation, I suppose, to my business. So I get at least a lead a day from Facebook. Now, some of them may not be my preferred leads, but the reality is that if I'm not able to work it, I might be able to refer it to somebody else in my office or another agency. So I think it is absolutely fantastic. Yeah,
and of course video's given us that opportunity to actually show a lot more personality in what we do. Do you use that in your communication?
Yeah, look, I do. I love video, and I do see the relevance, and I do very strongly believe in video. So as soon as I list a property, I literally do the 30-second, hold my phone up or my iPad up. And it's really funny, people love those videos. The professional ones, I always get a couple of likes, but I get lots of shares for these 30-second videos that I do. And it's really funny, I literally stand up there, I do one take, and I'm back in the car and I'm kind of running off.
Sure.
But the amount of people that might call me up and say, oh, Sherrie, I don't know if you realise, but you said "and" there a few times, or, so people are actually really watching.
Critiquing you.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's kind of great. But, I'll run into somebody in the street and they'll sort of say to me, hi Sherrie, how you going? I'm like, great, I haven't seen you in ages. And they said, well, I feel like I see you all the time because I watch your videos. So I know that they're actually being used. One of the properties that I sold earlier this year, the video was actually shared and I got an offer from somebody else's database, I suppose, on Facebook, which is powerful.
You use video also for seller feedback, don't you?
Yes, I do. So as soon as I finish an open home, I do send a video to my buyers, but I also do send one to sellers as well, because then I'm in the car, they're dying to find out what happened at the open home, and I don't necessarily have a moment to give them a call at that time. Sometimes, I might need to call somebody hot back from an open home 1 or 2 before, but they know that I'm going to get back to them that day, but they've got an immediate response ready to go.
Those videos you do for buyers who come to open homes, are they done for every individual buyer?
Not every buyer, but obviously if somebody has come to a few of my open homes that day, they will actually be more specific, because it's clear that they're a qualified buyer who's ready to go now.
And what do you say to them?
I just generally thank them for their time and for coming through, and see if they have any further interest to give me a call, and letting them know when I'm going to be in contact furthermore.
Have you got a script for that, or is that just done off the cuff?
Well, we do it a lot, so I guess we've kind of become a little bit programmed, but no, it's done off the cuff.
Hello and welcome to another auction update. Well, we did hope to crack over 50% clearance rate, but we didn't quite make it. Geoff White from CoreLogic back in just a moment with all the details.
Tall people, constantly making the world a better place.
There you go.
And how does the world reward you? Stretch out with up to 40% more legroom in Economy X on Virgin Australia.
Hi once again, Geoff. Geoff from CoreLogic, of course, Geoff White. G'day, Geoff.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Yeah, very well, my friend. Thank you. Had, of course, a great day yesterday, Anzac Day, celebrating, with all those great war heroes. So it was a top day, Geoff.
Yeah, and how are you going? You finished the painting, ready for the Open?
Yes, just about finished. I've got a few more touching up bits to do on the deck. We had a building and pest inspection during the week. And he gave me a list of about 12 things that I've got to sort out. So we're great believers in making sure that when the house goes on, there are no surprises. So we'll give full disclosure. There are a couple of bits and pieces that I probably won't do, to be fair. We'll just acknowledge them, and we'll have quotes for that work to be done, because we wouldn't be able to get it done in time. So nothing of a major.
What date's your auction, Kevin?
May 25, Saturday, May 25.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah.
So all the action starts from next week. The first Open, I think, is on Wednesday night. So.
Oh, fair enough. All right.
So fingers crossed.
You normally get a few through the first week or so because it's a new listing, so it'll be interesting to get the buyer reaction.
It will be. Happy to share all that with you as much as I can. We won't talk price, of course, because it's an auction. Yeah. Okay, well, let's get into it, Geoff. We'll bring up our final auction clearance rates, and we can see a weighted average there of just a touch under 44%.
Yeah, look, it's interesting. I don't read a lot into this, to be honest. I just think it was such an abnormal weekend. I mean, we've had Easter, school holidays. Some people are taking even this week off because of Anzac Day. So it's a really odd time of the year, and it is the second lowest clearance rate nationally that we've had this year. The lowest, of course, was the very first week we recorded auction results, the 3rd of February, when it was 52.8. So that was also a very strange weekend because we only had 500 odd auctions nationally. So I don't read a lot into it. I certainly wouldn't get too upset if I lived in Sydney and saw 46.3 because I don't think that's really where Sydney's sitting at the moment. So we'll wait and see what happens this week. But Sydney 46.3 from 221 auctions. So I had quite a few auctions, but I just don't think it was a wise move to probably auction on that week, because you're likely to see potentially below 50. Melbourne, of course, had the high number, but that was based on a very low number of auctions. So it's hard to read into these numbers.
Nothing much there. So we'll move straight on. Interesting that Canberra is almost spot on the weighted average too. So
it is interesting, is that, and it has been for a few weeks. It's sort of the capital of Australia and probably the capital of the weighted average. So we'll watch that over the coming weeks too.
Okay. Well, let's firstly take you to the sub-regions, and we'll have a look at Sydney sub-region. Just quickly scanning through there, we had a weighted average of 46% in Sydney. What eastern suburbs? Probably right on target there.
Well, and that had the most auctions, so 53 auctions in the eastern suburbs, 47.4. So that was almost the weighted average. Of course, the inner southwest didn't have many auctions, 15, 66.7, a couple of 50s there, North Sydney, Hornsby and Northern Beaches. And some just that we just don't give a clearance rate when it's, we don't collect enough results.
Right.
So that's why there's a few NAs in that table there, Kevin.
And, we'll move straight on to Melbourne. Very similar there, with Northwest being the only one where we've really got any figures for you. So, once again, and that's getting back to what you said earlier about not really relying too much on that weighted average of 43.9%. It's off such a low reporting number.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And look, this week we'll have more auctions, so we'll get more of a yardstick again as to how it's going. And I don't think it'll be too much different than what it was perhaps a week or two ago. So
let's bring up those numbers. The auctions for this week: Sydney 319, Melbourne 476, taking out the most number of auctions for the week. Geoff?
Yeah, bounce back. That's right. Melbourne's when there's a long weekend or a holiday or Easter, or at Melbourne, it really closes down the auctions like it did over Easter. Now it's bounced back to 476. Again, this is a bit of an odd week because if many people I know are taking the Friday, and making it a 4-day weekend. And I think a lot of the agents in their planning of the auction dates would have considered that. And I think you'll see that number jump up the following week. So, total of 974 nationally, only 394 over the Easter break, 319 auctions in Sydney. And I think the same reason would apply Sydney, Melbourne or anywhere. And that's why they're all down a bit there, Kevin. Even Brisbane only 88. So it'll be interesting, though. We'll get more of a feeling of what's going on in the market, definitely, with these results.
Because we've got an election coming up as well on the 18th of May. That's only a matter of, 3 or 4 weeks away now. What normally happens over that weekend, Geoff?
Look, I think because it's fortunately the Prime Minister called the election with plenty of notice, as they're required to do. So auction campaigns can be sort of built around that. Many will jump that week and go, I think, as you are on the week following, and many vendors will choose to do that. I don't think it's a big deal. I think the result is more of a likely to impact the market, but actually the auctions on the day, I'd say not. People are out and about. They're going to polling booths, it
was a really difficult decision for us, Geoff, because my thinking was, well, I don't want to put any obstacle in the way of getting a result on the day. And if there's the slightest doubt in anyone's mind, if they sort of say, well, I just think I'll wait until the election is over, I wanted to take that away. And then you sort of balance up and say, well, what if I go the week after and the result is not what what everyone really not so much wants, but if there's more speculation in you can look at it both ways, can't you?
It's interesting. I think the obstacle factor, particularly in the market that we're in, if you're in a very bullish market, higher clearance rates, very much a seller's market. I think you can almost auction something on Christmas Eve.
That's right.
But when it's the market we're in and it's very balanced, it's very fickle. Sometimes things just come into the mix. I probably think you've done the right thing. But again, the auction day clearance rates, election day clearance rates will be interesting to watch. And,
I tend to think it's a bit of a nervous market. Not really. No one really understands what's going to happen. So, but who knows, Geoff? We might actually get an offer before auction.
Correct. Well, that's the beauty of an auction method of marketing. The 3 phases.
That's
right.
Yes,
that's right.
And and smart buyers will probably work on that too. They'd probably be saying, well, maybe this seller would like a deal before the election, or certainly before the auction day. So it's going to be really interesting to watch the psyche of all this. And I've got to say, I'm enjoying this process so far, but it hasn't really started yet. So we'll wait and see.
No, that's right. I mean, it's look at when you're going through a marketing campaign as you've done before. It's just keeping the place tidy and ready for the opens and ready for the buyers to come back for their second and third inspections. So right. But the actual process, given the market that we're in, will be very interesting to watch too.
That's right.
But we'll see what from this weekend. Whether there's we're back over the 50 mark. I think we'll probably be 50 or thereabouts. I'd be surprised if we're under, but never know.
Okay, well, we'll certainly find out with the preliminary results when Geoff rejoins us again on Monday for our auction update. Geoff White from CoreLogic. Geoff, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. All the best.
And a reminder for you that Real Estate Talk is out tomorrow. Watch out for that. Just go to realestatetalk.com.au. Great lineup of guests we've got. And as I said, Geoff will rejoin us again on Monday and we'll have a look at what the results were from over the weekend. Geoff, thanks again for your time. Have a lovely weekend, my friend.
You too, mate. All the best.
Evening, Clara. Home, please.
David, what's on your mind?
I was just thinking of a different time is all. It was a time when I used to sit up there, Driving wasn't just about being taken from place to place, but going somewhere. Feeling something along the way.
Please, David, you should relax.
I'm afraid that's just the problem.
David, where are you going? David? David?